You're listening to Mating Habits of the Modern Geek, advice on love and dating within your own species. Are you having trouble finding that perfect geeky match? Do you need dating tips or relationship advice? If the answer is yes, you've come to the right place. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower, and in this podcast, we'll discuss the issues, answer your questions, and give you the skills you need to help you become better at dating. Hello, and welcome to Mating Habits of the Modern Geek. I'm your host, Kelly Hightower. This is episode 126, and today I am joined via video for you Patreon members by Sean Ryan of Alpha Counter. What's up, Sean?
Have Sean Ryan on more.
It is an outcry I hear. I still hear.
At least this time it wasn't prompted. You're getting ahead of it. You're getting ahead of the curve.
That's right.
Someone is like listening to last week's podcast, pulling up the comment section. I don't even know if there's a comment section. They're in the Discord, like ready, like their fingers are ready to fly. But no,
right.
Here I come.
Well, I got to tell you, the last time someone publicly, who I didn't already know beforehand, wrote in and said more Sean Ryan, they were from New Zealand, and I got into my statistics today, or not today, yesterday actually, when I was at work. I was supposed to be paying attention, and my numbers in New Zealand have tripled. And
what the hell are you doing over there?
I don't know, but I love it because I love New Zealand. I think it's a magical, mystical place that we can all aspire to one day visit, nay, live there. And yeah,
hobbits are all getting on Spotify.
Well, the cool thing is, like, so I'm an American. I don't know anything about geography or anything about anything really. And sorry, it's our education system. I can tell you a lot about Jesus, but no. So I just assumed that meant they were all coming from Auckland. They're not. They're coming from Wellington, like from Wellington Paranormal.
You lost me geographically there.
Yeah, no, Wellington's like a big. I think Auckland is the capital.
Okay, you held me steady at just saying New Zealand. Anything beyond that, I can't go any more dimensions beyond that one.
Listen up, other Americans. New Zealand is its own country, and within it, there are cities and towns. I don't think they're states. They may be provinces, because that's like they are in Canada. I don't know, but the point is, they're places other than where we live, America, and we need to figure that out and get on it. We need to be better Earthlings and understand that we're not the center of the planet.
See, if they want to catch my attention, they just have to put Lucy Lawless on their bills.
Well, I think she's from Auckland, but yes, I mean, it's a country that made Lucy Lawless and Lord of the Rings. I don't need to say anymore. But anyway, right. Because that population, that listening group,
and all tripled, the coin currency has to be replaced with that ring weapon. What's it called? The
chakra.
The chakra. That's what they have to replace with.
I think it was
just
called
different sizes.
Oh, I'm a bad Xena fan. I used to have all the VHS tapes, and then I got rid of them and got the DVD Play the Hits, the best episode set.
It's clearly still shrink wrapped.
No, it's out, but still. And I remember, and I'll say it, I don't care if it's controversial. Xena jumped the shark when her chakra was able to be turned into 2.
Oh, really?
Forget it. Yeah, at that point, it's done.
Was she David Copperfield, just like?
Yes, and then at that point, I think that Gabrielle was using Psy instead of a bow staff. It's just madness. It's a world gone mad. So anyway,
then Michelangelo showed up with nunchucks.
Exactly. Leonardo's there with 2 swords.
Right.
Raphael's still my favorite. I know he's an asshole, but he's still my favorite. So anyway, let me get this out of the way. Mating Habits of the Modern Geek is a proud member of the Geek to Geek Media Network. And if you want to watch what you're listening to right now, and why wouldn't you? It is almost 10:30 at night on a Saturday, where Sean and I have lived our lives today. And so I look tired. I don't know, Sean looks fine. You could watch us talk to each other. Yeah, seriously. And you're still in your mobile studio.
Yes. So, hopefully for the last time. I'm actually driving my way back home now.
Get inside a house.
Building, yes, to what might be Alpha Counter Studios. By now, it's probably 3.0.
Look, fingers crossed, toes are crossed.
If I could do this indoors, it'd be great.
You could watch us if you join the Patreon at patreon.com/matinghabits. So, what have you been up to, Sean? We haven't seen you in a little bit, in a minute.
I've been up to some stuff. Last time I was on here, I talked about how I got a fun new job at a company whose name rhymes with unlimited fun.
Yes.
There's been sort of an interesting update there. It's kind of a old girlfriend meets new girlfriend situation
Oh,
where we're looking to get some equipment, and the company we've chosen to get that equipment from is from my previous employer,
oops.
a company whose name rhymes with frown. And so my current boss went over to the branch, the building where I used to work, not just 4 months ago, and was checking out equipment there and was like sending us pictures of here's the stuff we're gonna get. And I'm like, I know where those doors are. I know where the hallway is. That's where I would use the bathroom every other day. So it's like, oh, that's surreal. Apparently he like met
Every
all the
other
people that
day.
I did. Yeah.
What?
Well, I spent a lot of time on the road, so sometimes I'd piss while I was out, and sometimes I
Okay.
was piss in the office.
Okay. just like every other day, like that was your schedule. Like I can
Oh yeah.
be once every 48 hours, and this is where
Once you get into a rhythm,
I guess.
yeah. So yeah, that was just a little bit weird and surreal, and I tried not to let any bad blood poison the well, but I just okay, I waited for him to meet up with them and start making deals to get this equipment we need. I said, okay, there's just a couple names you need to look out for, and here's why, and that's the last I'll say of that. Otherwise, everyone's generally cool, and I'm glad we're getting this new gear.
Well, I mean, it's not you're not responsible for how they act over there.
No, and the good news is now that I'm a customer, my old boss, now she works for me.
Ah.
I mean, with a
Oh,
couple degrees of separation, but still,
oh, how the turntables.
yes.
That's what he would say on The Office. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. But how about you, Kels?
So
I
the
want to
reason,
take all the spotlight.
well, we can go back and forth. We got lots of stuff happening.
Fair enough.
I this morning went to go volunteer to get it, and like, don't I'm gonna say this, and I don't want anyone to get like really jealous or feel like, oh my God, Kelly's life is so glamorous. I don't understand. Like, how does she get all the breaks? So this morning at 10 o'clock, I went to our local athletic park and sat at a table where I tried to convince passersby to join the Granville County Chamber of Commerce. Um, don't don't everybody sign up at once. And
Whoa, whoa. Line starts over here, ladies and
right, like
gentlemen.
slow down. We've got
Okay,
enough
whoa,
room.
whoa.
We've got enough room for everybody.
I hope some of
Um,
you brought your own pens because
we're gonna run out here. And it's my county's 275th birthday. So which is
muzzle
funny.
tough.
Thank you. Thinking about the fact that I was at the 250th celebration where they really went out with like super expensive fireworks and that whole nine. They didn't go out that far. I guess the 275th is not the same,
Yeah.
but how weird is it that I can remember? I'm like, Roger, I was telling him where I was going to be, and he texted me. He said, "Wonderful, be around for the 300th anniversary." And I was like, "Well, I sure the hell hope so." I hope I got 25 good years left in me.
Put your hands together and pray that we make it that far.
Let me tell you, there was a lot of praying this morning. Lots of pledging allegiances, lots of people singing the national anthem. There was a bugle revelry, I guess, for fallen soldiers. Like it's all fine and well, but I just stayed quiet in the back. But but anyway, so for whatever reason, I was only there like an hour and a half, and my table flip is about something that happened when I left. But
Huh.
I've been exhausted all day.
Oh
Uh,
my.
I just been tired. I got home at maybe noon and got the notification that Bama Shocks and Todd, the GM from my GURPS campaign, were playing Farm Simulator, and I was welcome to join. So for
Hmm.
another 3.5 hour set, I played Farm Simulator again. This makes seven
Kelly,
and a
your life
half
is so
total hours.
glamorous. How do we get in on this?
Well, the thing about Farming Simulator is that it's really good. And I know that sounds like a sentence you never thought you'd hear me say. It's really, really good. In fact, Will, shout out to Will, um, copied my Steam or no, my Discord notification. Kelly is now playing Farming Simulator 19. Screenshot it, put it in the Discord, and said, "What is happening to Kelly?"
Everyone, I think we need to talk to Kelly.
She's
She
out
is
here.
just fucking hyped up about corn,
Can
and
I
it's
tell
just
you?
growing.
So the thing is, I didn't even care about this game until I found out that those two, Todd and Bama, were going to be doing a podcast about it. And I thought, well, no one can do a podcast without me ever. If you've met me and then you want to start a podcast, I'm on it. I'm sorry. It's just
I
how
know
it
the
works.
feeling.
It's just how it works. Sean knows. So I said, well,
The life I left behind.
so just like, oh, hey, do you own a microphone? We're all gonna podcast together. But I listened to their first show and I was like, well, that sounds fun. And then I went and got in on it, and we played on a couple nights ago, and it was the three of us plus Alenzia, who people will know from the Geek to Geek Network and Nerdburger Review and all that sort of stuff, and the news show, the Geek to Geek Evening News that we tried to do. And so she's great. And so we were just playing, and I looked up and I'm like, oh, it's 4 hours later. Oh my God, this game, because it's really complicated. It is not intuitive. Luckily, Todd and Bama were very helpful in helping us figure out how to make it work, because it's literally, you have to find a field, sow a field, fertilize a field, lime a field, sow the seeds, speed up time, water them, weed them. Like it is so relaxing. I cannot explain to you how relaxing it is.
I'm falling asleep just being told about it.
It's so relaxing, and it's so satisfying because you can just see you.
I'm sure it gets you like into like a Zen zone, something like that.
Yes. Yeah, and so that's
Very
why
meditative.
the time can just fly by, because I'm just having, it's a perfect combination of just a rote, satisfying game that you don't I mean, like, you have to think about, but you don't have to continually think about. Like, you think about, okay, what do I have to do next? And so you start off on that task, and then you're just having just casual conversation with people while you're doing it. I imagine if I was playing it by myself, I would spend 8 hours doing it and waste my whole day. So it's only the fact that other people have to go, like, live their lives or eat dinner or pee or whatever, that I'm not playing it right now. So yeah,
Right.
I'm playing Farm Simulator now.
That's the
Get
thing that's
into it.
happening. But for how long, Kelly? How long?
I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. And in November they're coming out with Farm Simulator 22. So more farm all the time. I don't know.
Oh shit.
I don't
Can
know
you
what they can
import your
add.
farm?
Look, you can have animals. You can have actual, like, farm animals, and like go have like cows and chickens and horse. You can ride the horses. The horses want to be ridden. Like, that's part of their evolving. They're asking for it. So,
They're
and
practically begging.
they're
Ride me,
practically,
mount me.
please, please, right? They're begging for it. And I have this issue, which apparently is just, it's just me. I get stuck on every single fence post and or corner of every single thing, no matter what vehicle I'm driving, including horses. I was riding to the store and went to the wrong building, because I mean that would happen in real life. But I'm on this horse and I got too close to the bank, and the horse got hung up on the corner of the bank, and I dismounted and ended up inside the bank and had to, like, basically restart the game to get out of it, because I was stuck in a thing I couldn't get out of because I wasn't supposed to be there.
Be inside of in the first place.
Yeah.
God, I hope there's ragdoll physics like Goat Simulator attached to this thing.
It was. Look. What was funny is, I was telling Todd, I said, I'm stuck in the bank, and he's like, I can't see you. I was like, I can see you though. I said, I feel like a ghost. I feel like I'm dead. Like, I can see you and you can't see me because I'm stuck in this bank. Yeah, it's still pretty exciting.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, and he was like, and apparently there's like, you can hit a key and it puts you in the nearest vehicle. So that's how I got out. Was I hit a key and suddenly I was in a truck.
Was it the horse?
The horse is still stuck on the building, and we have our fingers
That
crossed.
poor thing.
The poor horse, it has a name and everything. It's a pretty horse. Fingers crossed that when we get back on the server, because we have a dedicated server. When we get back on the server, the horse will have just repopulated, reset back in the pasture. Because
that poor thing.
if I killed a horse my first solo run on the game, I'm gonna be real upset.
No, Kelly, it's worse. You would not have killed the horse. You would have condemned it to an eternity, impaled on a spike.
I know.
On a fence.
It's not
you
even
had to go to the bank.
It's not even impaled. It's just too close. It's just standing.
It's caught on a nail.
It's caught on a nail. Oh God.
We'll sit here and horse now.
I guess this is where I
This is
live.
what it's a living.
Can someone bring me some oats, please?
Oh,
And some
you poor sad
companionship.
beast of burden.
Poor thing. Oh God. It's a little bit racist too, because it was our only black horse. Racism. It's everywhere. It's in every
We'll
single
see.
facet of our
See, now I was
lives.
going to make a joke of like a shotgun cock being made, but now I can't do that.
Don't do it.
That makes it worse.
Don't do it. Don't do like flipping Roger and David Feinhammer did. And I had to edit out because I said, like an idiot, it's my own fault. I said, hey,
Yeah.
you two over 50-year-old men, don't say these three words. And they stumbled over themselves to say it repeatedly. So it was my own
Oh,
fault.
I caught that. Yeah.
My own fault.
I was surprised you actually bleeped something out.
Look, there's certain there are certain things that I will not put on my show. And I'm okay with that.
Are any of them the 7 words you can't say on TV? Like, are you gonna bleep out shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, or tits?
No, it's not that.
Okay.
They're not curse words. They're offensive
Okay.
slur. They're all slurs.
Okay, so I'm kind of guessing what they are.
Yeah, they're all either racial or gender or capacity slurs,
So
which I just
cunt
won't
got a
have.
pass.
No, cunt's always going to get a pass.
Okay.
Only because only in America is that word as offensive as nowhere else. The children say it at school everywhere else.
Certainly not in New Zealand,
New
where they
Zealanders
are
say it all.
enlightened.
No, they say it. They say it all the time.
At their children.
At their children. Their children say it to their grandmothers as they're dying on their.
As a term of endearment.
That's right. It is a term of endearment in the UK. But yeah, no, I don't want to restrict people's expression. But you're not going to be up here on my show throwing slurs. You throw slurs at your own house. You're not going to rope me into that, you slur slingers. But no, one of the other things, speaking of Roger, went to my first Oxford trivia night and we fucking owned it. We killed it.
Awesome.
And I just put this out here. Technically we tied, but the people that we tied with owned the brewery. No, they own the brewery in town. And we had a 5-question runoff between the two teams. And so they would do one question at a time. And each time I immediately knew the answer, wrote it down, and lifted up my paper. And they gave the other team 20 seconds to come up with the answer.
Oh,
we beat them.
House always rules, Kelly.
We summarily beat them. And I almost got in a fight in the parking lot because feta cheese is a sheep's cheese. And I'm not going to hear anything else about it. I challenged them and Googled it and showed them. They said it was a goat's cheese. You can make feta with goat's cheese the same way you can make a shoe out of a brick. It's not real feta if it's not made from sheep's milk. Take that.
You got into a near bar fight over a well, actually.
Some lady, and it was a lady. Like, I'd expect some nerd to come rolling out of there and be like, well, actually. But no, it was some lady, some bitch. And she was like, as we were walking out, I had the little tiny trophy, walking to my car. And she's like, we own goats. We make feta cheese all the time. I said, you make goat feta cheese. You don't make actual feta cheese.
Yep.
And she was like, I know what we make. And I'm like, see you later, losers. I got to hop to my car and drove away. Because she was not on the other team that tied with us. She was on some even worse team. So yeah, but
got in your car, drove off, and immediately got stuck on a fence.
Stuck in a bank.
Like, oh.
For what it's worth, if that horse has respawned, we're going to change its name to Wells Fargo.
Okay.
We'll never forget. Never forget.
If it happens again, no, if it's still stuck there, name it Elmer.
No. Poor horsey. But I'm trying to think. Oh, just got 2 more of the little things, and we'll get back to your stuff. We've got we started back up with the Cthulhu night, so I now have my in-person gaming group met for the first time last week. Awesome. So that was a happy event. It's been over a year and a half since we'd all sat together and talked about Mask of Narthlep. Anyway, it's a Cthulhu game. And so it was just so nice to get back to that little tiny piece of normal. And on the other side of that, I went to this event that I get invited to every year. It's an old client of mine who grows basil plants like you would grow like a hidden weed field, like just rows and rows of basil. And so he makes pesto with different nut combinations. He calls it Pesto Fest. And so you come to his house and he and his wife serve up different types of pestos, like with walnut, basil, like different types of basil and different types of nuts and like pastas and breads and stuff to put them on.
Mhm.
And basically you just sit around and drink beer. But it hadn't been for years. I went like 20 years ago to one, and he invites me every year. And so this year I finally went, and I took my friend Tom Cole with me because he and I needed to catch up. And I said, "Go with me to this thing. There'll be 90 people there. I'll know four of them, so you and I can talk and eat pesto for free and drink like lemonade that's probably got weed in it."
Help me run this hustle.
Right. And then we'll still be able to catch up. And then when it gets where it's because it's so hot here, when it gets too hot and we can't bear it anymore, we'll go to a coffee shop or something. So that's what we did. But what was cool is you had to be because this guy is so super liberal. He makes me look like a Duggar. Like he
Oh
is
wow.
totes lib and like the amount of women in just caftans there, it was beautiful. But you had to be vaccinated to go to the party, and
Oh yeah.
you had to sign a form telling that stating, "I swear that I'm vaccinated," and put what type of vaccination you got.
Under threat of what?
Well, I mean,
Like, what
just
if you find out I lied? Like, what are you gonna do?
not be your friend anymore.
I
I mean,
guess. But
it's
why
I
document? What do you need a signed document for?
lawyers. I mean, he's a lawyer. I
I
don't know.
guess.
I liked it. I was like, good.
Yeah.
Because hey, I got my
I guess you
shot.
could like, yeah, I guess you could like make copies and like just show it online. Like this person lied
Well, I
because they
think
wanted fucking pesto.
I think too, I think if you sign your name to something that you know is a lie, I mean, you're only hurting yourself. Yeah, it just means you're a shitty person. I wouldn't sign my name to something that was a lie.
Pesto ain't that good.
No, and it was good, but still, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. But it was really neat to be around that level of like so
Right.
super lib. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to just ask everybody what their pronouns are. This is a
Like, you
whole
know what?
different thing for me.
I feel I can relax now.
No, very much so. And everyone
I
was
thought I was wound tight, but no.
like, this is great. Everybody was so super nice. But yeah, so finally went to Pesto Fest, which I guess I told him I'll see you again 20 years from now when I come to the next one. Oh, and they had an Irish Wolfhound, which I'd never seen in real
Oh,
life.
nice.
They're the biggest dogs that exist. Like they're
Right.
like 5 feet tall at the back. They're beautiful. And I was like,
Were you able to ride it?
yeah, I could have ridden this dog. Seriously, I wouldn't, but I could have. I probably would have gotten
Oh,
it stuck on a bank.
stuck on a fence post. Yeah.
Yeah, but but no, it's just they're beautiful, long, silken hair, giant dogs, like but giant, like bigger than Great Dane giant, and
Yeah.
just so sweet. And I was like, oh God, I want one of these. I'm not even a dog person, but I want
It's
one
like
of
the dog
these
from Legend
dogs.
of Korra.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like this dog has magical powers. This dog will help me succeed at something.
It can airbend.
Right? This dog can do anything. But yeah, so that was a little exciting tidbit. But that's what I've been up to. What about you? What tell me about He-Man.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what else you've been watching. Well, I get some taste of it in the other episodes you've done, but as of this recording, like the new He-Man show on Netflix just dropped like 2 days ago.
Mhm.
It's the one by Kevin Smith. I'm a fan of Kevin Smith, and it's the only first 5 episodes have dropped. I guess they're doing it in 2 parts, but it's surprisingly good. It's
Really?
really good. Yes, it is. It is good. The only like it's got brilliantly cast actors, all of which are Kevin Smith's friends, but they all fit the roles that they're in.
Mhm.
So it doesn't feel like, oh, just they just you guys friends. It's like, no, like these are actually like that should sound like that guy, or that person should sound like that guy.
Right.
They got Sarah Michelle Gellar as Tila.
Oh, cool.
The only thing that was kind of funny I found, and this is not really a knock at the quality of the show, but for the past I want to say few months, Kevin Smith on Twitter has been extra defensive, pretty much on all social media, where someone has posted saying that we heard from an inside source of the production of He-Man that in this new show, He-Man is going to take a back seat to Tila, and it's going to be Tila's show and her girlfriend. And for months, he was saying like, no, it's He-Man's show. It's about all the Masters of the Universe, all the kids. It's not the Tila show.
Right.
I watched the first 5 episodes, and 3 of those 5 episodes are He-Man takes a back seat while Teela has adventures with a girlfriend. I don't know how future episodes are going to go, but so far, like, I mean, I don't know if like he was trying to not spoil things or if he what it was, but it's like, no, that's kind of what was described there. It's not bad. It's still
Ladies,
really
it's
good.
working, ladies. It's working.
It's not that bad, but no,
It's so
no,
funny.
it is. But like again, it's still only 3 of 5 episodes, and they're going to have I think 10 episodes total for the first season. I don't know.
Well, maybe
Uh,
He-Man will be in some of this.
he was he he was certainly in the first episode, and he kind of shows up in flashbacks during the next few episodes, and then sort of he's back in the end or something. I'm not gonna spoil too much of it,
Don't
but
spoil
still,
it. Don't
yeah, it's like he's kind of there, but no, like Teela's the central character in this show so
That's
far.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
and I mean, I'm fine with it.
something I did not know, because I was like, I watched She-Ra, of course, when I was younger, but I never really watched He-Man. I watched enough
Yeah,
of it to know what was going on, but it wasn't my jam. And that's because I don't know if you're aware of this, but He-Man is a gay icon, and
yes,
gay
absolutely.
gay boys were obsessed with He-Man, perhaps for different reasons.
That's
And
that's one thing I kind of had in my notes about how like we're in the age of wokeness, but the old He-Man, also She-Ra shows in 1983, 84 were so ahead of their
oh
time
yeah,
in terms of like wokeness.
they're gay as
Because
fuck, buddy.
exactly, I watched the shows. Well, it's not even just that. I mean, there's a lot of that, yes.
Yeah,
But I remember watching as a kid and just being entertained. But about 10 years ago or so, I just marathon watched the entire series over again when it was on Netflix. And I was just floored, like, you know what? This is a this is a cartoon meant to sell toys to children.
yeah,
But there's a lot of really smart design in the show. There's things like gender roles, how like the men and women are completely treated equally. There's no attention brought to it.
right,
Teela, like He-Man is like got superpowers, but Teela is never disrespect. She's always treated like an equal as a partner in whatever
right,
adventures they're doing.
right.
It's never brought to the attention of her being a woman. It's like she'll just go, okay, He-Man, I'm gonna go do this thing while you go take care of this shit over there. And they're like, fine, sounds like a plan.
Right.
And it worked out. So like a very subtle way of having a good role model for gender equality. Plus, there were other things like I noticed watching it as an adult that so He-Man's got his magic sword and shit, right?
Yeah.
He never actually uses it as a weapon. He never uses it on a person,
Right.
on like a even if it's a monster, like he'll use it as a tool to like cut open a tank or to like springboard off of some shit or use it as a
Mhm.
lever, but he'll never attack a living being and he'll never even really punch things either. Like if they're fighting a monster, he won't go punching the monster or stabbing the monster. He'll try to get the monster like into a cave or something and then use his sword to bash some rocks, have a temporary cave in.
Right.
He'll say like that'll keep him occupied for a while because He-Man doesn't want to kill him either.
Right.
And just subtle things like that. It's like, oh my God. So this show is not quite that, but it also made me think of the I don't know if have you seen the new She-Ra that they put out?
I know about it, just through the woke newsletter. I know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I watched the first couple episodes of that. Um, kind of stopped watching it because it wasn't really for me, but it's fine. Not everything has to be.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the direction they went in that show was they tried way too hard to project, look, we're woke. Instead of just being woke, they were
Yeah.
like, check how woke we are. And they did this way better in 2 shows, not just He-Man's, but He-Man and She-Ra.
Yeah.
You also had the gay icon of what's his name, like
Man at
Bo?
Arms. Bo and
No,
Man at Arms.
exactly.
Yeah. The
Uh,
mustache alone, dude. Come on. That's
precisely. Like they
that's the
did that
gay porn mustache.
so much more effectively in the early 1980s
Yeah.
than I felt they did with She-Ra.
Well,
And
and
it's like, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
the new She-Ra, the reason I didn't get into it is because it's about teenagers, And
Yes.
old She-Ra was about, she was grown. I mean, she was
Right.
a young woman, but everybody was like was grown. And I never really, I was thinking about this when you said you were going to talk about He-Man. I remember watching Thundercats again as an adult. Thundercats by far my favorite cartoon growing up
Yeah.
ever, and very formative in my attractions to certain men. And when I watched it again I got the little DVDs and I'm watching it. It had never occurred to me as a child that Lion-O, although he is a grown man in his body, is still a 13-year-old boy in his mind.
Yeah. It's like Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that as an adult, I'm looking at that going, oh, no, 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 no. Like now suddenly
Oh, now
the
we made it weird.
right, it became
Yeah.
weird. And I was like, oh, but he's so sexy, but he's a child. Oh, gross. Like there was this weird conflict of like, don't put a
Yeah.
child's brain in a grown man's body.
This reminds me of the guys you were telling me about when you would meet on the dating apps, where it's like they're so young and grown up and beautiful, but fucking dumb like children.
Like babies.
Yeah.
Like
But you
baby.
would have it no other way.
No, I definitely would have it. Yeah, no, that all of that whole thing is just like falling off of a cliff of like, I can't. I just can't. I can't.
So basically your type is Rocky from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, definitely not. No, I can't deal with just the abject stupidity. I can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
Not for long.
it doesn't, well, I honestly wish all those guys that I was talking to on Bumble that were so hot and was just trying to arrange a damn hook. Jesus Christ, the logistics. I
Yeah.
was like, forget it. I can take care of this by myself. But like, just if I had met them out, like at a convention or at a club, it would have been perfect. It'd have been like, shush, 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 don't keep talking. Just come into this room. Like,
Yeah.
don't, please, let's not. But to actually have to set up a
Said the spider
strategic,
to the fly.
right, like to actually have to go, so where do you want to meet? Where do you want to get coffee? And they're like, I like coffee. Like, no, God, but where? Like, where do you want to go? And they're like, I don't care, just as long as we can make out. And I'm like, but
Uh,
pick a place. I'm trying to come to you. I'm trying to find you. You
you're
idiots.
you're basically exchanging DMs with the dog from Up.
Yes, it's very much like they're all Doug. They're all Doug. Like, hi, I love you. That's great. Can we get together? I
Right.
would love to get together.
I
Getting
like
together
coffee.
is fun.
Coffee tastes good to me.
Right. I'm like, oh my, I
I
can't.
would like some.
I can't. I just cannot deal with. I'm too old. I'm too old and bitter. Where I'm like, I'm not shaving for that. That's just too much. It's too much. I
Right.
can't. What kind of conversation am I gonna have with these idiots when I finally do like meet them face to face and be like, so, it's the weather's been hot. God, like it just
It's like you're trying to play handball against curtains with biceps.
like you're so pretty. I wish I could just ship you to my home. Like,
Yeah.
but other than that, I can't. I'm not gonna
Put you one of those
orchestrate.
like one of those clear cases you put in Funko Pops. Just put you in one of those.
Like,
Put you on the shelf.
I just need you for a half hour. That's all I need. That's all I need. I'm a professional at this. So, yeah, yeah. Um, no, they're dumb. I can't.
Yeah.
There's one I haven't unmatched with, but the rest of them I've just been like, no, unmatched. I can't. I'm done
Yeah.
trying to have a conversation with you because you are clearly made of stone. Like I don't understand why you're from another planet. I don't understand how you don't understand how this sort of conversation goes. I'm not asking you like, what are your theories about the space-time continuum? How do you feel about billionaires using them? Like I'm not doing any of that. I'm just like coffee, come this way.
Just like a little picture on a little stick
Right.
with an arrow. But then you still have to wave the sign in the direction of the arrow.
Starbucks. Like just yeah.
And then like pretend to hold the ball and throw it.
Throw it into my car. Go run get it. I just shut the door.
It doesn't even have to be a real ball. Just pretend to throw a ball.
Exactly. Like, you get it. Some in my hand. It's good. Go get it. Ooh. Oh my God. So, but like I said, there's one that I'm like, he's still
Well, on
so
the brighter
pretty. Go ahead.
on the brighter side, this would not be an episode of Sean on the podcast without me talking about video games I'm playing with my daughter.
Well, it's an adorable segment. Let's hear it.
So now that my daughter has thoroughly destroyed Pokemon, let's go. I'm thinking, all right, she's figuring things out, the way the gameplay works, of like the stats and battling and what she needs to use. Let me throw some RPGs at her and see what happens.
Ooh.
Let's test this kid. So there's two I picked. And by the way, whenever I get games for my kid, a lot of times it's just an excuse for me to get one that I want.
Of
But
course.
like I'm playing with her, so it's like twice the value, right? And it's educational. So
It's bonding. I'm bonding.
I got the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake that they put on
Mm-hmm.
Switch. That is actually really fun. I've never really been into Zelda. I think the furthest I've gotten is maybe like a third of the way through Ocarina of Time, but unfortunately, I'm one of those nerds that just like I how do I Zelda? I don't know. Like I've tried.
How do
I
I even
really
Zelda?
I really want to get into A Link to the Past, and I think I've tried the original Link's Awakening before, but just never got very far in either. But
Mm-hmm.
now this one, I guess they got the formula just right for me. So I've been playing with my daughter. Um, since it's single player, we can kind of like going back and forth. Well, she'll go around the field, the outworld, or the overworld rather,
Mm-hmm.
doing all the slashing stuff, fighting the bad guys, using items and whatnot. And I go in and I will take care of like the dungeons and the puzzles.
Gotcha.
But I'll make sure that like she's watching me and we're talking about the puzzles that we're doing, so
Mm-hmm.
she can kind of figure out what the puzzles are also. Same thing with like whenever we fight a boss, like, okay, well, how do we beat this guy? Where's his weakness? What do I have to do, and what do I have to get to get him? And she's usually pretty good about picking that stuff up. So that's been pretty fun. I think we're about maybe 3/4 of the way through the game.
Mm-hmm.
We're on like dungeon level 7 out of 8. So hopefully we'll be finishing that up soon. The
That's
other,
cool.
yeah, she's really liking it. It's one that it's basically, like I said, since it's one player, it's just a bonding experience for something else for us to do together.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes, like if Moot catches her, she'll like ask, "Hey, Daddy, want to play Legend of Zelda?" All right, I'll do most of it, but let's do this together.
Oh.
Um, Similarly, and this will be tied into something that we bring up later. I got the Steven Universe role playing game. It's this one's Save the Light.
Mm-hmm.
It's the second one. The first one was like mobile only, and I kept trying to play that one first, except my phone sucks. So especially because a lot of the combat is like timing, kind of like Super Mario RPG, where if you want to get extra hits or deflect things, you have to press the button at the right time.
Right.
My phone's kind of laggy, so it's like, well, fuck that. That's not going to work. So I decided, fuck it, I'll just start with this other one. And it's been really great. It's been an excuse for my daughter and I to also watch the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'll go around the world, and what she's really getting into is the combat for that.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, like they'll have like a few characters you can choose from. Each one has different specialties, and also there's the timing of the button presses to either defend yourself or to get extra hits. And she is just mastering all that stuff, not just the timing of
Nice.
things, but also saying, all right, well, these bad guys here, they have like extra shields, so I need to get Garnet in my party because she has a shield breaking punch that'll knock their shields away. And she's figuring out the strategy
Smart.
of like the chess pieces that she has of what they do and how to use them in the situation she's in. And it's like,
That's
oh,
super cool.
it's so amazing to watch, and just seeing her just soak all that up. And like I said, it's something that we'll just pass the controller back and forth together. Like she'll do the fun stuff, I'll do what I want to do, and it's a great bonding experience, and it's cool seeing her learn and while also having fun.
What if you're raising a professional gamer? How cool would
Oh
that
my
be?
god. Oh, that is a loaded question. I don't know, man. I've seen some professional gamers out there. They use a lot of racial slurs.
She look, she can handle it. Look,
Yep, yep.
she's a girl. By the time she's 11, she will have already heard the most horrible things that any woman could ever hear yelled at her from a car that's driving past her. She'll be all right. She'll
I
be able to
think
handle it.
I think I'll be have done things right if she's not just playing games professionally, if she's designing and creating them together
Oh, of course.
professionally.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be me. It's like it's one thing to just play stuff, and if there's still something that's entertaining about that to market just that part, but to
Hmm.
be able to create something to see a void out there of like I've always wanted this kind of game, but instead of waiting for someone else to make it, I'll make it myself, and then seeing her get into that. That's something I would rather see.
Well, between you and, Vane is super good, is super computery, and you're living in the best place right now to get in on the ground floor, that sort of stuff. We've got 2 huge gaming companies here at least.
At least two, yeah.
Or
Here
3.
in the
No, we've got
triangle,
3. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So, I mean, you're in the right spot too.
yeah. But
Well, that's
speaking of
cool.
games,
Yeah.
and also speaking of games by companies that I work for, uh, I went to follow up on you on a game that I sent you recently, a
Yes.
game called 5 Dates.
It's
Have you been able to try it yet?
No, because I wanted to do a record I wanted to do like a live playing through of it, and I wanted Roger to be here since he's the only co-host that lives locally.
Yeah.
Um, and I wanted to set all that up, and we haven't gotten it together. It's on the books to do. We just
It might
haven't.
be a cool Twitch stream, especially if you have someone there with you to help make the decisions.
Yeah, yeah, like that was gonna be the thing because he would make the absolute opposite decision that I would make. So it would make
Right.
for an entertaining sort of thing. And I wanted to do it for bonus content. I'm thinking about all kinds of bonus content to do for the Patreon because I'm not doing enough other than my audio Loki reviews,
Right.
um, and that kind of thing. But here, hold on one second. I'm gonna pause it.
Okay. Let me know when you start again.
Okay, we're back.
So getting back to 5 Dates. Well, one thing I was watching, since I sent you my own copy of the game.
Right,
I was kind of watching some long plays on YouTube just to get a sense of what it is. And I'm not going to ruin it too much the experience for you and some of the listeners, because if you want to get it, you can get it digitally pretty much anywhere. But what I found kind of interesting about it was that this game, it's like we should kind of hold on to it as like a time capsule
right.
to like show our children, possibly, especially since I have the physical disc, because 5 Dates is 100% a game, or at least an interactive movie about dating during the 2020 pandemic. It is literally about that. They talk about the
Ah,
pandemic.
yeah,
They mention what's going on, how everyone's in lockdown, and everyone has to use dating apps in order to meet new people. I thought
right,
this is a brilliant little like capsule that like not only we can watch as sort of a quasi scripted portrayal of what we went through like the past year,
right.
but also it's interactive, so you can kind of choose the outcome and kind of inject yourself in there by making this guy's decisions. The worst crime this game has is that because it is like an interactive, not a movie of basically several Zoom calls, it can be kind of boring. So you really look forward to when you actually make choices and impact what happens in the stories. Um, Also, it kind of has the token cool black friend
I saw that on the box.
who, from the box art, he looks like he's part frog.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but whatever, it's fine. I guess you needed a wingman, and like
does
they have a lot of people of color in the game, and the male protagonist that you play as is another person of color. But then like this guy comes out of like a 1930s cartoon. Like, hold on a second.
oh my god, does he do any sort of weird handshake or, like, do they high five ever?
No, they never meet because the entire game takes
Oh,
place over Zoom
everything's
calls.
okay, okay,
Everything's over Zoom calls. But
gotcha.
there are scenes where like he's just smoked up, or like he's
Uh,
talking to him while playing PlayStation or something.
yeah,
Um, but those are like the two worst things. If you can get over that, it's still interesting. But it why I find it kind of sort of practical in playing it is that if you play it, it does sort of prepare you for a sort of experience of what online dating is like,
right,
because it sort of teaches you to pay attention to how people might be, I don't know, like imperfect, or just it prepares you for people being people.
right.
Because when you're out looking for someone and talking with people who are interested in you, you tend to like not ask a lot of questions, or just your mind fills in the gaps because you're just enamored with how amazing they seem to you.
Yeah,
But this sort of reminds you through the course of the story of each potential date that sure they seem awesome at first, but there's like little clues here and there, like this person might have a child that they're not telling you about, or
oh, damn,
this person might be in trouble with the law right now,
that's high
or
drama.
this person seems cool, but she kind of like every now and then she'll have a personality disorder that you'll have to be careful of. And it's just those little things that that reminds me of that age-old piece of advice I want etched in stone to tell everyone: no matter how good they look, someone somewhere is tired of putting up with their shit. And
That is
as long
true.
as you keep that in mind with whoever you're interested in dating, that helps kind of dispel whatever I guess the infatuation is you might have in
Yeah.
them. Just remember that they're human. Someone out there is tired of putting up with their bullshit.
Well, I
And
mean,
if they're
except
tired,
for me, Sean, except for me. No one's ever
well,
anyway,
mm,
not for me. Anyone who I'm no longer is no longer in my orbit is sad about it.
I know a horse is tired of putting up with your shit.
No, Wells Fargo, no.
It's like, oh, this bitch again.
God, here she comes again.
I know I'm going to stuff in the bank again. I might be here forever.
She's gonna.
No more. Like, you know what? I'm not even stuck in this bank. I'm volunteering myself to stay here forever because the alternative,
It can only get worse. Where else could she stay?
being the mount for Kelly Hightower, no life for me.
Talk about something that should be etched in stone.
Yeah.
No, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful experience.
So anyway, I at least wanted to contribute part of that game, especially since I gave it a copy, and I am curious if you guys are able to stream it.
Want to
But
stream
at
it?
least I at
Yeah.
least want to talk about, because I still, having watched some of the long plays, found it interesting of what they do with it.
Well, once we figure out what we're gonna do, and I say Roger ain't gonna figure out shit. I'm gonna figure it out. Just tell him where to be, and
Yeah.
then maybe we'll be able to port you in somehow. I gotta figure out how this OBS works. All my streamer friends are like, "Do you have downloaded OBS yet?" No, I haven't downloaded it yet because I'm busy, and I eventually will. I just haven't done it yet. I'm gonna
Yeah.
figure it out. It's new technology, which scares me, and because I only like to do things I'm gonna be good at right out of the gate. So
Because why bother with anything else?
that's right. No,
Mhm.
nothing else is as important. So yeah, so I will definitely see if I can rope you into it too, because
Okay.
I think we're gonna have a ball. We might turn it into like a drinking thing, because why not? So
Oh, that's
well,
one of the things they do at the beginning of the game. You can choose before you start doing the dating app. They ask you, do you want to have a drink or do you not want to have a drink? Do you want to do it sober or do you want to be a little tipsy? And I
always a
guess
little tipsy.
that affects how your character behaves
Oh,
and
I
the
see.
choice, yeah, and the choices that you're set up to make with the other applicants.
Well, I'm ready to make some bad choices virtually. I'm tired of
Yes.
making bad choices IRL,
Yeah.
but I'd like to make some bad choices virtually. That sounds like fun. But I keep hitting my little
I,
table here.
I was gonna say, I refer you once again to a horse.
I know a horse. Now I feel like I should log back on and see if that horse is still there. No. At one point, I'm driving a tractor with a plow behind me, and I use a game controller, and I'm the sticks are too sensitive, and I know I can go in there and turn that down. I just haven't yet. But so I'm trying to overcorrect with the tractor. The combine behind me is like doing like,
Wobble.
and Todd is like, "Whoa! Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to get to the field, man. Leave
Kelly,
me alone.
stop farming so hard. It's not that.
Like, leave me alone. You didn't say mind your business." It's like, if you saw that, no, you didn't. But anyway, all right. So
Too
let's move
farm,
on.
too furious.
We did make that joke the first night because we were driving so fast. I said, but we got family.
It's all
Um,
about family.
It's all about farm. That was really good. Oh God. All right. So let's
I
talk
live
about
my
this
life
topic.
half a year corn at a time.
That was not as funny. I didn't get that one,
That's fine.
but the farmly I
I
got.
start off with my, yeah. I start off strong and kind of like, go down from there.
Yeah. So this was your idea for a topic, because as always, I go, "You want to be on the show?" And people go, "Sure. What's the topic?" And I go, "Fuck if I
I don't
know."
know.
Well, you got something you want to talk about? I've done 126 of these. I don't know. Let's
Yeah.
talk about. I can't just constantly talk about how boys are dumb. They make up the majority of my listening. They're going to eventually get pissed off about it. So you had the bright idea of, let's just take a bunch of little topics and talk about
Yeah.
a bunch of little things. And so the title of this episode, that's why it's called Topic Tapas, Tiny Plates of Tiny Advice. Delicious. So What do you want to talk about first? Because you have your own list, a secret list I know nothing about.
Okay, okay. So, um, once again, I'm gonna hit strong.
Oh
There's one
shit.
thing I want, yeah. There's one thing I wanted to sort of touch on. I will try to make it quick because I know it's something that Kelly doesn't want to talk about.
Oh God. No.
But
Hello, listeners. I wanted to pop in here and give a PSA, um, or an explanation, really, about why I have edited this argument out of the episode. It was an argument that went on for about 10 minutes, and I am a firm believer in not putting out things that are inflammatory or argumentative if they don't reach some sort of resolution. And in this instance, I invited Sean to come on the show. Sean's my friend, and he brought up a topic that I didn't know he was going to bring up. And when he brought it up, I tried to go with it, but instead I ended up getting very heated and lost my temper a little bit, and it's not comfortable to listen to. I don't want to ever put things out that are just, like I said, just argument for argument's sake. I don't like to argue, contrary to popular opinion or contrary to what you may think about the show. I actually don't enjoy it at all. And afterwards, when we spent 10 minutes talking about this topic, I realized at the end of it that I had actually become angry. Now I can give the excuse of it was very late at night when we started recording. I'd had a very long day. For whatever reason, I was not at my best. And I also feel that it is rude to invite someone to come on your show and then argue with them. It's happened to me before, and I didn't like the way it felt. I didn't want to do that to Sean. Anyway, I've taken it out of the show. You really haven't missed anything except for some uncomfortable arguing. And I put this in the show instead of just editing it all out because there's several times during the course of the rest of the show where I apologize to Sean for it. And so instead of trying to edit all those out, uh, and whatever, I figured they're fine to leave in. So anyway, that's why you're listening to this. And if you're watching the video, there's this little insert during the video. Hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the show. Once again, sorry for this interruption. I will endeavor to do better next time. I always want to put out content that I am proud of, and I am never proud when I lose my temper. So, thanks for listening. I'm tired of people talking to me about the fucking friend zone. I really am.
I
I
I
wish
will
you'd
never
have
bring
put it on
I
the
will
list.
never bring it up again.
If you had put it on the list, I would have deleted it from the list. I would have said we're not
That's
talking
fair.
about it.
And again, I will not bring it up again.
Okay. Well, what else is on your list?
Is it your turn?
I mean, no. Let's talk about.
Okay,
stuff
okay.
on your
So,
list. I need to cool off. Go ahead.
all right, I'll throw softball for this one. So my in-laws have finally moved out of my house, and if I have one piece of advice for anyone in a relationship who is living together, if ever the question arises, should we let any in-laws move in? Your answer is no. I don't care if it's like siblings or parents or cousins, any in-laws, don't let them in your house because it
Yeah, I
will cause
agree.
trouble and they may never leave.
Yeah, how
My
long have your
in-laws,
in-laws been there?
they were supposed to be living with us 6 months to a year. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And only finally, after several fights and things, did it finally happen. And it's just they it's like now that they're out, I finally have the family and the household that I wanted.
Right. Right.
Like I married my wife and started a family with her. Like I didn't marry her parents also, but apparently I have been for the past 4 years because they filled the entire house no matter where they were, and it's just I couldn't have my family. It became kind of like I was an accessory to their family,
Right.
and it's just never just don't do it. It's never gonna end well.
I can remember I was at your house one time, and I think it was like Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah.
And they
And of course I'll say like I do love them. They
Of
they are my
course.
family,
Of course.
but and I know that the circumstances that I have will not be the same as everyone else's. But just to everyone, don't do it ever. There's never a good reason.
There were times where there was just nothing but 6 people speaking Spanish and you're just sitting there kind of like waiting. I can't imagine how isolating that must have felt to
it,
just
it
get
feels it feels so nice to be able to sit down at breakfast with my wife and kid and speak with my family
right, right.
instead of just sitting there with my coffee.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I
Yeah,
couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. I'm too selfish. I couldn't let anyone come and live with me and my spouse. Um,
yeah.
I mean, like, couch surf for like a couple weeks, but like to actually physically, like, I'm also moving in, I couldn't handle it.
Like they would have to have like some major health issues that they have to live with you for like
right.
severe medical reasons.
Wh-
But for
Which at
any other
that point, I'll
reason,
be looking for somewhere
no.
else for them to go. I'll be like, let me help you find
Right.
a place to stay. Let me go as
Exactly.
a care unit somewhere. A nurse can look after you.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. No, that I felt for you on that one. And there was no, I mean, they're wonderful people. I like them a lot, but I
Right.
can't. 4 years is too long. It's way too
Right.
long. So I'm glad that
I
you're finally going to be able to get your house back. And
it's like I love them over there, not in my
yeah, it's
house
completely
all the
reasonable.
time.
Yeah, don't don't let people move in. You're right.
Right. So that's my relationship advice there.
That's pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, let's talk about the Steven Universe clips that you sent me. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
because and I'll tie them into the last episode we had. I was talking with Roger and David about um how this guy that I had messaged and I could keep it had not gotten back to me. And I was like, why hasn't this guy gotten back to me? What the heck? Like he should have, because he's like a little nerd guy, and we were high percentage rating, and he matched with me. And so I was like, why is he not answering me? And Roger's like, oh, he's got something better on the line. And David's like, oh, I don't know why. And I was like, no. And so I did the thing that I would not suggest people do, but I can do it because
Mhm.
I'm an expert at this, this like dating and small talk conversation.
I'm old and out of fucks.
That's right. And so I had left a couple messages, and then I left another message like the next day that was like, okay, well, I'm gonna, sort of fuck off here. Like, like I guess I don't know what's happening, but I don't know what the deal is. And it was more, I forget exactly what it was, but it was more eloquent than that. And he immediately replies with this long thing. I was like, I think he like copied and pasted for somewhere else. I don't know. It was just really quickly, this really long thing about how he's like, yeah, on further reflection, I, realized that you look like one of my family members, and that's kind of weird. And also, I went and read your profile again, and you just seem like someone who I have already dated before, and that is just a
Why
no
do you
go
need to
for
know any of
me.
that?
Do I
Why do you need to know any of this?
just to fucking unmatch and move
I
on? Like
I
just unmatch.
guess
Like so it's just like
exactly.
it's just like what, and it was such a weird sort of like, did I look like the family member when you swiped right? Like, because I hadn't changed my photos.
Right.
Like, I haven't changed the way I looked. Like, and so here's my advice to that. Like, don't come back with a, I mean, like, come back with a not interested. And even better, if you've already matched with somebody, if somebody matches with you and you don't like them, don't match back. If you do match back with them and then suddenly we're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that, or you look and go, I've kind of changed my mind, just unmatch
Yeah.
with them. They disappear. You disappear from their screen. They disappear from yours. And it's like the message with that is pretty clear. Like, oh, he found somebody else, or oh, he just wasn't interested. But then to get this, like, just this long excuse that basically said, you're weird looking and I don't like your personality. Well,
Uh,
first of all, fuck you. Like,
yeah.
that's not a thing to say. Um, and also weird because you matched me first, because this was a response. He liked me first and then I liked him back.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I liked him and then he was just trying to see who was liking him. And so then to then go through the oh, and I also read through your thing and I don't like who you are as a person because it reminds me of, I hate the whole you remind me of someone. Get
Right.
out of
That's
here.
the part. Yeah.
Get
That's the
out of
part that's
here.
confusing me also. Like if I sort of understand of someone not wanting to just cut away because it seems rude and also leaves you asking some questions for yourself, at least for a couple minutes.
Sure.
If you want to like just say I'm all you have to do is say, I'm sorry, I don't think this is going to work out. Like if you're
Right.
interested in someone else or you remind me of my mom or whatever the hell it is, um, all you have to do is just say, I'm sorry, I don't think this is going to work out. Best of luck. And then, like you said, on match, and then it's over.
Unmatch.
It's
And
it's
it's
fine to be sensitive to someone else's feelings to not want to be rude, and just give them a reason, even if it's just like a soft reason, just like, sorry, I don't, it's not gonna work. And then,
Right.
yeah,
Well, and this is like, I've been rejected.
it's like,
uh
just don't be too honest.
Well, it's not even. I mean, like, first of all, my personality is fucking awesome. Like, don't. No nerd is gonna be like, "What, she like video games and comic books? Gross." Like, fuck you, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we're like, no, we like the same shit. Relax. But just this concept of I mean, like I said, I get rejected all the time. So like that it didn't kill me inside. I thought it was funny because it was new. It was a new sort of rejection. I get the unmatched rejection all the time, and I think a lot
Yeah,
of times it's because, like I said, either people are using bots and they're swiping right, or they swiped right because they liked my profile picture, but went through and they either didn't like that I was fat or that I was too tall or whatever in the hell, and then they just
yeah,
unmatch. And so it's a rejection, but it's not one that, I mean, this guy didn't hurt my feelings either. Like, it's just that I was like, well, this will go on the show. This
yeah.
is this is a lot. So everybody gets rejected, even professional daters like myself who've been dating consistently for 30 some odd years. It happens. And like, to tie that in with the Steven Universe clips that you sent,
Mhm.
I don't watch Steven Universe. Once again, it's just any cartoon that's about kids or young people is not gonna be my jam. But I thought it was really good. It was about who, I guess, who is the main little guy? Is that
So,
Steven?
yeah, the clips I
Okay.
sent you were from, they had the main series of Steven Universe, and they had a movie, and then they had kind of an epilogue season called Steven Universe Future, where they made Steven a little bit older. He's now like in his teenage years,
Mhm.
and kind of ties up loose ends. And most of Steven Universe Future is not the theme of it is people grow, things change, and sometimes we have to accept that. People, like
Right.
characters, go off and do the certain things. Like Steven, part of what he's struggling with is they have these huge adventures, saved the universe, learned all this fucked up shit about himself and his own family and
Mhm.
and everything. So now he's trying to get things back to where he's like, I just want things back the way they were in season one, guys. I want us all hanging out, all just having fun, where nothing really matters and all that. And everyone around is like, I mean, we can't do that. Like, we got our own lives. We've discovered something about ourselves. I'm off doing this, and like he's trying to bring things back to the status quo, but no, that's not how life works.
Right.
And I think for at least that whole final season of Steven Universe Future, it gives great examples of how to maturely handle these situations you run into in life. And the
Right.
clips I showed you was when at one point Stephen decides to propose to his friend Connie, because he loves her. They love each other,
Mhm.
um, and he thinks that if they get married, then that'll again bring lock things back into a normalcy that he wants.
Right.
But of course, that's not how life works. She wants to. She of course loves him, and these are all spoilers in case anyone gives a shit about Steven Universe. But she says, "Look, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying not now.
Right.
I love being a part, like us being together, but still need to be my own person. I want to go to school. I want to travel. I want
Mhm.
to find my career for a while, and then we'll meet each other again later and build a life together."
Right.
And I noticed that his reaction is what a lot of, especially nerd type guys, would do. Like whenever there's like a rejection or a breakup or anything like that, he says to her, "Well, wait, you're saying that you want to get married, so if we're going to be end up getting together later anyway, why not just do it now?" And she explains, like, "Look, like we both have some growing to do. We got to be
Right.
ourselves and before not just being together. Like we got to be two separate people who are together and not necessarily rely on each other to define each other in a relationship and as ourselves as people."
Right. Yeah, and I like to the second clip where, is that Garnet?
That's
Who is it?
Garnet,
Okay, the cool black
the big
chick.
tall, yeah, the tall black
Yeah,
lady.
the cool black lady. And she tells him, like, things don't always work out when you want them to work out or how you want them to work out, but this person who just basically told you no wasn't going to complete you. She wasn't
Right.
going to fix you. You have to complete yourself. You have to go out and become a whole person in order for you to then be able to build something with someone else who hopefully is also a whole person.
Yeah.
And I think
The,
that
the,
that go ahead.
The quote that I wrote down was, your soulmate is your complement, not your missing piece. Another
Exactly.
person, your life will not be defined and completed by another person. You have, like you were saying just now, you have to fulfill yourself,
Right.
and then find a partner, someone who will join you on that journey and have fun together, but not use that other person to define you.
Right. Well, and I think, and that's another thing that I wrote down about embracing your aloneness. And it's tough after the pandemic because, and we're still not out of it, but because we were sort of forced to be alone, and those of us who lived alone, it was tough. I lived in a house. I mean, it's not, and I always say this, but like my father's an old man. To go and visit him, I didn't want to be hugging on him because I may have been bringing COVID home from work.
Right.
But to sit there and realize that it had been, I think, 9 or 10 months since I touched another human being. That's
Yeah.
huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. I had not touched another, I mean, and I'm a hugger. And so, and immediately when my friend who's the masseuse got her vaccine, she was like, "You can come on up." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get a massage just so a human being will touch me." Like it's not a
Right.
sexual thing or anything. It's just, we're creatures who need that sort of connection. And at least I missed it when it was gone. Just shaking hands with people and that kind of thing. It just it adds up and it matters. But aside from the
Like, there's a
pandemic,
reason why we have a cuddle hormone. I forget the name of it, but there's a cuddle hormone that our body lets out whenever we come into physical contact with another human being.
yeah, it's a happy.
It's good for us.
It's good for us. It is good for us, and because we're safer when we're with other people. But when you're alone in the non-pandemic sense, just being single and that sort of thing, you can't just be in a panic about like, oh, I'm single, I'm single, I'm single. I've got to find someone. I've got to find someone. You have to sort of stop and embrace the fact that you now have the opportunity to do all the things working on yourself and your personality or your body or projects or things that you want to do. Like now's the time for you to do them because those things make you a better person. And if you're a better
Right.
person, you're able to attract better people to your life. And eventually it'll happen. Or maybe it won't. And you'll just, live forever by yourself, which many people have done and it's fine. This is why you can
Yeah.
continually get pets because pets are the fucking bomb. but taking the time that you are alone, as in not in a relationship, to really be introspective and really think about things that you want to work on and things that you have always wanted to do or things you wanted to get better at, and now's the perfect time to do them instead of just being like in a panic because
Right. And you
you,
can still have a partner, someone you love, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or
right,
whatever, but not, and you can be committed to them. They can be a part of your life,
right.
but the goal should not be, well, we got to figure out how to bring these two hands like permanently together. It's, how am I still working on myself, and how are they a part of it? How are they joining me on this?
Yeah, the concept of you becoming two halves of the same whole is sounds really romantic, but there's a Kahil Gibran poem that I actually had read at my wedding. Um, so how that turned out, but it wasn't because this was reading at my wedding. But essentially, it's a poem about marriage, saying that the building that has the pillars, two pillars at either end, is much stronger than the building with one giant pillar in the middle, and that you need to be strong and apart to be able to build something together, as
Right.
opposed to just constantly being dependent on one another and not being able to build anything at all because you need the other one to survive. It's not realistic and it's not healthy.
Right.
um so yeah, I mean, poor little Steven Universe. I
It's a good
felt
little
so,
show, and if
so bad for him.
that's another show I'm sure has shown up on your radar for the LGBTQ
Oh
like
god, they
newsletter.
love it, they love it. And all my
Yeah.
cosplay friends cosplay as the different
Yes.
jewels. um
Different gems. Yeah, that's
Gems.
another one where it's like, it also it broadcasts the ideas to kids, I think, in a very healthy way,
Right.
especially since it's sort of through the lens of all these characters are aliens, so it's not like people and all that. And again, it's not, we don't bring up the topics, it's not in your face, it's just, here's the circumstances and relationships that people are in,
Right.
and kind of maturely, like, here's how you go through it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see, a fruit fly has joined the podcast. I
Oh,
went to the farm stand earlier today, and so I've brought fruit flies into the house. So there's one that's been plaguing me. I don't know if you can see him on the video, but Yeah, no, this show, Steven Universe, has shown up on all my radars. What's the bad thing is I'm a really bad leftist. I like Venture Brothers and Rick and Morty. Like I think those
Yeah,
are the sorts of cartoons I like. I don't like any of the other.
same.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of any sort of cartoon that is about kids. You know,
Yeah,
is not for me. Um, but yes, so I like
so
all
like
the
no Adventure Time, nothing like that.
yeah, and I like certain things. There's one it's not Adventure Time, although I did like what was her name? Granny. It's not is it Granny Apples? What was the name of that little elephant?
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
They're
I
cute.
haven't I haven't I haven't seen that much of Adventure Time, but yeah,
And also, I mean, baking pancakes, making bacon pancake. Like there's certain
yeah.
memes from those shows that I think are adorable. There's a show, it's called Adventure something, but it's got Catbug, and I've watched all
Oh
the segments
yeah,
of Catbug because Catbug is fucking adorable. But I never watched the actual show. Um,
right.
because I'm not interested in that.
Steven Universe, I've watched about twice through now. What helps is that the episodes are only like 10 minutes long.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying you absolutely have to see this, Kels, but if you do, the episodes are short. It suffers from the same thing most shows do anyway, where the first season is kind of rough and sloppy because character models aren't always consistent. They're
Yeah.
still kind of figure out direction, and a lot of things just don't land. But about halfway through the first season is when they start really locking things down, and they hit their stride. And it's worth going from there. Um,
Is
so I
there
can
a
see where I'd
show
be.
is there a show that exists that the first season was good? Game of Thrones,
The
maybe.
Firefly.
That's painful, but
Too
true.
soon.
It's
Too
true.
soon.
It's true. No, I get to play Firefly every other week because that's what we do
I
in our
say
GURPS campaign.
first
But
season of Firefly is awesome. It just doesn't get any better after that.
it falls off after that.
Yeah, the TV series, right, just doesn't get any better after
Doesn't
that.
get any better after that. But yeah, no, that's common in most shows where the first
Yeah,
season, like you enjoy it during the first season, the second season, you're like, this is fantastic. This other
like it,
season was shit.
like if you watch the first few episodes of Buffy, like that's hard to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like the first appearance of Angel is like a little too happy.
Oh God. Although I'll say it again. I
They're
went
like
on.
completely different people.
I enjoyed the Angel series better than I enjoyed the Buffy series. I
Oh,
don't
that's
mind
fair.
saying it. But they knew what they were doing by then. They'd had 6 seasons of Buffy to to
Exactly.
to figure out who all these characters were. So
Right. So they
it's gonna
didn't
be
suffer
better.
from like they already knew who the characters and the situations were
Right.
for the first season of Angel. So it's like, I mean, spin-offs they kind of get a pass, but this was like cut from whole cloth there.
Um. But yeah. So what else? What else you got on your list?
The only other thing that I was kind of jotting down was something I've been thinking about along the lines of gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's you often encounter this with guys, especially nerds, who will like draw lines in the sand. It's like, well, if you want to be my girlfriend, you're gonna have to know every single actor's name who played the Doctor in Doctor Who, or else you're not a real nerd girl or whatever.
Yeah.
There's that kind of shit. There's something that I find kind of similar. That's like kind of like soft gatekeeping, where it's not like you have to prove yourself to me by knowing this or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's okay. Well, I'm into this stuff, so if you're gonna get me, you're gonna have to watch or play all this other shit just to get up to speed with where I am.
Right.
And I thought that's something that isn't often as addressed as whenever we talk about gatekeeping. I don't know what if you experienced anything like that with guys.
I mean, the only thing I've experienced with that with guys has been here recently because I'm into the stuff that most guys are into.
Yeah,
One of the things that I'll bring into my next little suggestion is I get in a lot of arguments with mostly guys about things like the fact that I like the sequel Star Wars movies and that upsets them.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like, well, you paid for it too. Um, but like I like them. And then that becomes kind of a gatekeeping thing because they're gonna want to try to force me to see that I'm wrong for liking them. And I'm like, well,
Right.
it's not gonna change the fact that I like them. But no, I had some of that with the previous boyfriend, and that was part of the whole abusive side of things. he was very into sports, and it became I have to, pull for the same team. Here, he wants me to wear the jersey that that his jersey where the game is on. We got into a huge fight because I looked at my phone one time during the Super Bowl. Like just this kind of, you two will have to be into this thing that I'm into. And not like an idiot. I'm like, okay, whatever. But but like, and I mean, it's kind of not what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
there's a element of basically like you have to be on my team, not sports team, but just like we have to be on the same
Right.
sides of things. We can't have differing opinions because then, it's a, you must not enjoy it to the same level that I enjoy it if you have a different opinion of it.
I guess I'll give an example because one of the reasons why I was thinking about it is I'm always introspective and wondering, like looking back on my dating history and thinking, was I guilty of this? Was I wrong there? Because I feel I sort of did something similar myself. That as I mentioned at the top of this podcast, that I'm a big fan of Kevin Smith,
Hmm.
and what kind of became a ritual for whenever I would, like the past few girlfriends that I've had, is I would say I'm really into Kevin Smith and I'm probably gonna be talking about a lot. Um, and we would watch the first few of his movies together.
Hmm.
And I know it wasn't like, well, you have to like watch all of his movies to like be able to catch up where I am, so you know everything that I'm talking about. Um, I sort of, I guess, in my own ego, like forgive myself in that I never really made it like an ultimatum, like, well, you have to
Hmm.
watch all this stuff. It was, I turned it into an excuse of, I really like this thing, and I want to see these movies again anyway. Want to watch it with me, so you at least know what I'm talking about when I reference something.
Right.
So it's not like I love Kevin Smith. Now that we're together, you have to see his entire back catalog
Right.
to keep up with me and where I am with that conversation.
I wonder if it's a gender thing too. I wonder if it's a masculine thing
Oh, I'm sure it's mostly guys. Yeah.
to want validation for your preferences. Because I can't think of anything that I do. Like I've never dated a guy who listened to my podcast. Not once in 10 years have I ever dated a guy who listened to any of my they're not podcast. I don't date podcast listeners.
Right.
I
I
certainly
sort
am
of see it as
open
a
to it
lack.
and would want to. But I'm not there like, did you listen to my show? You should listen to my show. I'm put my show on your phone so you can listen to it. I'm too busy enjoying the stuff I'm enjoying to
Yeah.
care whether or not you're enjoying it or not. If it's your thing, great. If it's not your thing, you could do something else. Like that's, but I've noticed that with a lot of guys, it's hey, I like these things. Do you like these things? And I'm like, they're fine, they're okay. And it's like, well, no, you've killed me. I've been wounded because they mean so much to
Yeah.
me, and you don't like them as much. So what does that mean? That they're not as cool?
Yeah.
It's an
I,
insecurity thing.
I see it as that also. I see it as like I have to validate my own taste by having another person also be into it. But I also see it as, again, it's kind of a selfish thing where instead of compromising of, oh, I'll appreciate and respect the things that you're into and I'll share them with you,
Hmm.
and you'll like maybe share some of the things that I like. It's like, no, I'm going to stay where I am and you have to meet me where I am instead of
Right,
us meeting somewhere in the middle.
right. To which I'm in the other room going, "What'd you say? I'm in here doing my
Exactly.
own thing. I didn't hear you."
It's sort of a like a status flex, like showing like
Right,
you have to prove yourself to me,
right.
which is why I still see it sort of as gatekeeping, but like a soft gatekeeping, not like
Yeah,
the other thing before.
it's not a you don't deserve to be here. It's a you have to work to be here. But it's still
Right.
gatekeeping. Yeah, no, that makes
Yeah.
sense. One of the things I put on mine because this happened to me this week, and I will go ahead and apologize to everyone listening. Apologize to Sean. It happened to me in this show. Arguing over opinions makes you look mean and weak at the same time. I feel like the little thing that we got into made me look weak and appear mean at the same time, which I hate.
That's
Um,
that's fine.
but
I tried to make it quick and easy,
I
and
can't.
I
Yeah,
did surrender. I surrendered.
I know, but I shouldn't have put you in that position. I invited you to come on here, and then that I consider if someone had done that to me, I'd be like, "That's rude." I feel like it's rude. If it's
And
any consolation,
if
go
there's
ahead.
anyone if there's anyone whose voice should matter and be loudest on this show, it should be yours because it's
I,
your show.
well, I appreciate that, but I do. I apologize, and I also would like to, after we get done recording, talk to you about my Delta 8 gummy score that I will share with you. And as a way of saying sorry, but no, was at a thing, and they don't listen to this, so I can say it. I was at a thing earlier in the week, and once again, no matter where I'm at, somebody wants to talk about how much they hate the Star Wars sequels, and all I said was, "I like the character of Rey, sorry." And it became a just a
Yeah,
full like walk like a just a storm out, leave the room because I like Rey. We all bought tickets to go see the movie. It doesn't
yeah.
mean that you lose extra money because I enjoyed a character that you don't enjoy. What fucking difference does it make? But this whole and it's like, we're in a room full of people and now you've stormed out because you can't emotionally handle the fact that I like a thing that you don't like. I didn't tell you you had to watch it. I didn't come in and I didn't take all your old Star Wars movies and throw them away. I didn't punch you in the face repeatedly, be like, you should like Ray too. I just made
Right.
the comment, I like the character of Ray. And it was like I was persona non grata. I was just like, it was this whole sort of like blowing up. And as you storm out, I'm like, you look weak. You look stupid. Like we are grown ass
Right.
fucking man, and you're stormed off to go cool down because I like a character. You maybe need to get on some
Like, grow up.
medication.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is not a thing to like storm out about. And
That's
like a lot of times with this person,
yeah.
I'm just talking the way that I talk. And so I'm just like, I I understand that I'm a big personality and I talk loud and I have all my opinions are very much rooted into, well, this is just how I feel.
Right.
But I don't notice that with this particular person. I have heard from others that I just tick him over the edge. And of course, my response to that is, this
Whoa,
is
totes true.
Sparta.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. Let's have a real barn blazer of
Take him over to a
fights.
bank.
That's exactly. Like, I'll get you stuck on a corner, man. Because then it becomes hilarious to me because I'm like, fucking grow up. Just grow up. Like, or
Right.
don't bring this up. If it means this much to you, then already know that this is my opinion. And the fact that you
Yeah.
want to bring it up and have an argument, I'm not going to argue about I like a thing. Well, you shouldn't like that thing. Well, tough. I like the thing. Well, I'm storming out. Well, you look like a fool. So, and I think as nerds and geeks, I see a lot of this sort of this it's all or nothing sort of, well, let's have a heated discussion about a thing and then it becomes personal or it becomes too heated.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to not talk about that anymore and quit bringing it up because I didn't bring it up.
Yeah. That's one skill that I try to build throughout my course of doing podcasting is that I recognize that I mean, you and I have done this also in the past, like over Star Trek First Contact. We have very different opinions about that movie. But
I
the way
like
that
it.
I know, I think it's garbage. Um, the way I at least try to engage in these conversations, knowing that you love a thing, I hate a thing, like we can accept and like both of our reactions to the thing is valid. Like
Yeah,
you can like it, I cannot like it.
sure.
When I talk about why and how I hate a thing, the way that I try to do it is to say, okay, here's the reasons why I hate it, but I try to at least make it funny so that we're both laughing about it.
Right.
Like, because hopefully that you don't like something so much that you make it part of your identity and get offended by it.
Right.
But if I can say, here's this stupid thing that happened in the movie, and here's why it's stupid and funny, you can. My hope is that the other person go like, yeah, that is at least pretty funny. I still love it, but yeah, that's funny.
Right. No, of course. And it's not like I'm sitting there, like with the sequels. I didn't say this is the best writing that's ever been. This is the best Star Wars that has ever existed. It was not.
Right.
I still liked it. You could have Lucasfilms just draw Star Wars on a wall. I'll go look at it. I like Star Wars. I like
Right.
any sort of Star Wars I can get. Same with Star Trek. Any Star Trek you give me, I will take and enjoy. I have my favorites, and there's certainly things in certain seasons of certain shows that I'm like, this is ridiculous. But I'm gonna like every Star Trek that comes out.
Yeah.
Except for maybe what was the one where Picard was a Romulan clone?
Oh, that
Um
was Nemesis.
Nemesis. I did
Yeah,
I
that was a
didn't
mixed bag for me.
I didn't like Nemesis.
Yeah.
Even though it had old hot dude, old Tom, what's his face?
Tom Hardy.
Yes, supposed to say Tom Brady, not him, Tom Hardy. He was good looking. But anyway, yeah, I typically don't ask people what their opinions are about media because I don't need anyone else's. I like the things that I like because I like them. If someone says, "Why do you like that?" I can give them an answer, but I watch the same two shows on Netflix back to back as my comfort shows. One's a
Mhm.
sitcom called Still Game. The other one is an Australian sitcom called Kath and Kim. They're not good shows.
Yeah.
They're not, they didn't win awards. They're just little,
It's comfort food.
it's comfort food. That's what I
It's a
enjoy
bag of
watching.
chips.
Exactly. That's what I enjoy putting on when I'm trying to like do stuff around the house, or there's not, I can't, because right now I'm in a Netflix thing. I can't find anything to watch on
Yeah.
Netflix or Hulu. So I'm like, well,
This
just
ain't good for me, but I'm gonna snack on it.
right, I'm gonna put it back on. And so if someone was like, well, it's really not a good show, I'd be like, yeah, I know. I'm not gonna storm out and go, what? Because it doesn't
Yeah.
invalidate me at all. Like, this is just a thing I like to do.
Yeah.
It
I don't
doesn't.
I'm not afraid to tell people if I don't like something or if I hate it. But the last thing that I want to do is to project to them that I hate this thing, but also I don't like you because you like the thing that I hate.
Right,
Or
right.
I think less of you because if you like it. If you don't like it, I try to at least communicate. It's like if you like it, that's fine to have your reasons. I don't look down upon you because you don't agree with how I interpret this media.
I don't feel like you should have your feelings hurt about something you didn't create.
Yeah, that too.
I feel like you just, and if you do have your feelings hurt about a thing that you had no part in and did not create, then that's something you should talk about to your therapist about, because that's something you're looking for such outward validation. You're looking for your parents to be proud of you. You're
Mhm.
looking for, that is something that you need to work on, because the majority of the world's not going to agree with you. And you're going to have a very difficult, upsetting, sad life when you find out that people think you're weird and they don't like the same shit you like. And that's okay. Be weird and like the shit you like and don't fucking worry about it.
It reminds me of something that I said in a panel that you and I did for like Animazement or something many
Mm,
years ago. It's look, nerds. No one is impressed if you're that great at watching TV.
right.
Yeah. No one thinks that you're awesome because you're really good at watching movies. No.
Yeah.
We're all watching this stuff and we're all gonna take it differently.
Right. It's just, it's not that big a deal.
It's
This is supposed to be fun. Like, people just need to
they're
sit there and
distractions.
relax.
It's not a lifestyle. It's just supposed to be a distraction. If nothing else, food for thought. And some people will chew on it
Right.
and come up with some develop depending on their taste. They'll chew on it and come up with a completely different flavor that you did.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's, it's so exhausting. It's exhausting. Sometimes it's exhausting, especially now getting back around groups of people, to be
Yeah.
in person with people and
Now you
not,
can judge them judge them face
well,
to
no,
face again.
well, that's the thing is I don't start out judging,
Yeah.
but once
Right.
again, a
But
lot of my
giving them
life,
reasons.
a lot of my life is spent going, why is everybody mad at me? Like, what did I do? Because I'm not intending to do it. I'm not intending to be inflammatory. But I find out later through the grapevine, so and so was really upset because you didn't like the same thing they liked. And I go, that's sad for them because I had not thought about them since I left. So, like, they really need to not be so concerned about whether or not I
Yeah.
agree with them about anything. Like, I'm not that
Right.
cool. Like, it's going to be okay. Um, like, I feel like, tell them to subscribe to my Patreon if they think I'm so cool that my opinions have to match up with theirs. I should be getting some
Kelly
money.
Kelly Hightower. Is everyone crazy or is it just me?
I was like, did I make everybody crazy? I'm sorry. I didn't
Right.
mean to. I just kind of go out and do my thing, which apparently a lot of people don't like. But that's okay. A lot of people do like it, and those are the
They
people
don't
I
have
care
to.
about.
Mhm.
The people I care about, are the people who like it. Um, one other little topic. I have discovered. I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's my
Okay.
business, but I have discovered that as in the whole like dating relationship world, I really prefer to just have crushes on people. And sometimes have impossible
It
crushes.
seems safer, yeah.
And it's the amount of effort I want to put into it. And I want to have, like, right now, I have like a secret crush, and I'm putting all kinds of effort into the crush and enjoying the crush. And it's great. And I'm so happy about it. And for 100 different reasons, it will probably never come to anything or work out. But there's a good 10, 15 reasons why it may or it might. Who knows? I'm so enjoying having the crush. I'm like, that's
It sounds like a circle of life situation because like after 30 some years, I've come to realize that when I was in middle school, I was right about relationships. I should just admire someone from afar and then not take any action about it. I'm safe this way. I get to
right.
feel good
Yeah.
and nothing happens.
Yeah. I get to be excited about it. I get to be like,
Right.
ooh, we're going to do a thing. It's so
No dreams
exciting.
are crushed and
Yeah.
just it's all what I make of it in my mind.
Right. And I'm happy for if it organically works out, it'll organically work out and that'll be wonderful. but
Kelly, you were
also,
right when you were 12.
yeah, but also I'm not going to I'm not gonna like do any like weird hard presses or moves or try to I'm just have a crush. It's adorable. And I just am enjoying the hell out of it. And it works for me. And because of the, the fact that I'm crushing hard, it's really making me not want to go out and just have random sex with people. And I think that's probably a good thing too. I mean, I think it's probably at this age, it's giving me an excuse to be like, I don't have to get back to these poor little sad, beautiful men who
Yeah.
can't string a sentence together because
You
this crush is just it's just enough serotonin for me to be like,
uh,
oh,
when I say no one gets hurt, I mean them also. You don't
what?
have to like like this long chain of broken hearts and bodies.
I'm just confused. Beautiful
Kelly's
men going
body count continues.
right to be like, how come I can't stay? Get out! I so told you to get out. But I want to play video games. Get out! I don't have to. I now don't. I feel like I don't have to do that because I can just go back to my little crush and
It becomes like the end of Endgame, where like some pretty boy comes up to you and goes like, "You destroyed everything that was important to me," and you're like, "I don't even know who you
I
are."
don't even know who you are. And then of course he goes, "You will," and he flies up there, and I'm like, "Oh shit, I fucked up. I should have paid attention. He's gonna be no, I'm gonna get zapped." Yeah, no, it is, and it. I love being Thanos in any situation. I was, I was Thanos in
Just
another
snap
video.
your fingers and half those boys are gone.
Like I can't do this. Too many conversations. Gotta go. It's for the best.
What if I make half the population disappear, but just only one gender?
Right. Well,
That'd be the half you snap.
no, I mean, Men
If
in
the Infinity
Cages
Gauntlet's in
2021.
Kelly's hand.
Men in Cages 2021. No, I would never do that. Um, most men are lovely. Um, it's about a third that need to be driven into the ocean, like the Red Bull in the Last Unicorn, just driving back into the ocean.
Fast forward like one epic journey later, like you should have gone for the head.
Right, exactly. Although if it means I get to fight with Captain Marvel and we may kiss, then that I'm all down for that.
Okay.
I'm a big Captain Marvel fan, but um, but yeah. So I tend to put myself in situations where I either am friends with men that I can't, for whatever reason, be with. Either they have zero interest in me, or they're married, or for they're hundreds of miles away or whatever. Like I put myself in these sorts of situations, I think subconsciously, so that I won't have to go through the effort of actually being in the relationship. Because being
Mm.
in the relationship is the part that I hate the most because I'm always disappointed. There's always tension, there's always fighting. And when I'm just alone on my own, it's always great to just be like, oh, well, when I don't have to deal with another person constantly, which I'm not very good at or comfortable with, actually, the fun part, the dating and the meeting the new people and the going out and the doing all that and the flirting, all that's fun.
The magic stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that part. The actually when I land on somebody, it's like, oh God, now we got to do the work. That's where I'm like, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it. So I discovered that having a crush feeds all of my excited butterflies in the tummy needs, and for right now is good. And maybe if things aren't going well for people out there for whatever reason, just get yourself a little crush. Just find someone
Yeah.
who you're like, oh, that person's cute and sweet and adorable, and I just want to kiss their face and buy them a puppy. 'Cause that's where I'm at. Um, and
Yeah.
it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, especially when you can't really get to them and fuck it up. So
Sounds like sounds like crushes are like the rice cakes for the soul, where like they have no real nutritional value, but they're also not fattening and they're
right,
somewhat satisfying in
right.
small little bites.
They make you feel like you're eating. Like
Yeah,
you're eating
exactly.
something.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's not gonna go anywhere and it's not gonna hurt you. So yeah, but
But that's one I want for mating habits quotes. If like any story where I'm Thanos is a good one, Kelly Hightower.
exactly. You might not agree with my decision, but I'm definitely going to make a decision.
Right.
There will be no hemming or nor hawing.
Rain fire.
Right, I will make a decision.
Kelly, it
Oh,
is inevitable.
I mean, that is kind of true. Like, if you
Yeah.
ever met me,
Oh
ev-
fuck, I should have known.
I
How did I
know
forget?
eventually you will have to make a decision one day. Do I stay friends with this bitch or do I completely just beat feet? Um, and that's you're free to decide. So, what's your table flip? Let's get to table flips. We've been talking for hours.
Oh God. I guess this is like a small one. I'm almost out of gas for it, but there are too many fucking apps. There's an app. It's like the joke was, what was it, about a decade ago? It's like there's an app for that. There's an app for that. Now there's too many fucking apps. And the worst part is a lot of them seem to be like single purpose apps.
Yeah.
And so the two big things that got me on this rant was like, uh, I had for like some business meeting, I had to do a video chat for something. And I said, okay, well, we're just going to meet up on Zoom or something. It's like, no, we use this other piece of video conferencing software. So I'm like, okay, so now I got to install this thing that as soon as we're off the call, I'm just going to uninstall.
Hmm.
And then, of course, as it's not just an installation of the software you have to use, you also have to create an account,
Yeah.
throw out your email address out there. So now I've created an account that's out there in cyberspace. Also, I had to turn off these push notifications that are on by default and blowing up my phone. Then I got to unsubscribe to all these emails that I'm now subscribed to because I created an account.
Right.
And it's just fucking no. Let's find an app that works that we can all agree on. Zoom works fine.
Yeah. It
It
does.
kind of carried through most people through this pandemic. We're on it right fucking now.
Right now, we're on
And
it.
it's like, and then there's apps for things that I think are dumb. Uh, like I, it'll like if ever I have like a smart home, it'll be in a new home that my kids set up for me because I'm too old. Like I don't need a light bulb that's goddamn connected to Wi-Fi. I don't need that much traffic on my airwaves. I would rather save that bandwidth for like pirating movies.
Hold on 1 second. Alexa, turn off door lamp. Amazing.
I don't fucking need that. Hey, you know what? We had technology like that 30, 40 years ago called the clapper. Clap, clap. I still got
That's
my
true.
bandwidth. Yeah.
Alexa, turn on
I,
door lamp. Sorry.
and a clapper ain't gonna spy on whatever I'm talking about
That's true. That's
and
true.
sell my conversation to Jeff Bezos. No, I don't need it. Like, because the thing that pissed me off was that at work we have like, and I've seen this for like homes and other places, the fucking doorbell for the back door is connected to an app. It's a fucking doorbell.
Yeah, but they want to be able to look at their phone and see who it is.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, like, my wife brought up the valid and actually good point
The security reason.
that those devices are good for, like, if I want to look at the camera to see who's there,
Mm-hmm.
or if I want to use my phone to talk to the person who's bigger, like, I'm almost there, or who is it, or what do you want? Those parts of that app, I'm fine with. But the doorbell part, those things need to remain simple, because now we are in a situation where only the people who have the apps on the phone and have created accounts with them knows that there's someone by the back door. If any of those people are out of the building or if something happens to their phones,
Oh,
we don't know if we're getting a pickup or drop off.
gotcha.
Whereas if you just have a simple hardwired doorbell, the person in the back presses that button, everyone in the fucking building
Yeah,
knows that there's someone at the door.
yeah,
We don't, it's an overcomplication. I can see some of the benefits, but at the same time, again, I go back to the light bulb. Why does my light bulb need to attach to the Wi-Fi? And that's every single light bulb that I want to control. It's like, it's just a fucking light bulb. I will give in to the extra effort to maybe get up and flip a switch to turn it on and off. I will pay that tax ahead of time to not have to deal with all the complications of, now it's not just a relationship between me and a light bulb. It's now a relationship between myself, the light bulb, my router, and my phone, and my internet service, and all that.
yeah.
All these things in between us. It's like it's a ridiculous orgy of tasks that everyone has to function correctly in order to have lights on or off. I'm fine. I don't need that. I like, if I press the button on my phone and the light does not come on, I have to go through several chains of troubleshooting to see where the problem is.
You do.
If it's a regular light bulb, if it's a regular light bulb and I flip the switch and it doesn't come on, I just unscrew the bulb and see if it's working or not. It's just me and the light bulb.
Look,
I'm
I get
not
what you're saying,
spending an
but
afternoon diagnosing shit.
look, the whole you prepay the tax of getting up to go turn the light off in this
I've
economy.
signed that waiver.
Nope, nope. I got to lay in bed and turn off all the lights from bed. That's how I live. That's the future I want to live in. I get it there. You
Yeah,
be an old man yelling at cloud. I love it.
I'm literally yelling at the cloud. Motherfucker, I don't need my doorbell. I don't need a 3-point authorization of my account to log into my fucking doorbell.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
I get it.
There's so many ways that it can go wrong, and I that's the part I want to minimize.
I get it. I'm just willing to pay it.
Yeah.
For fancy shit. I want to get
some things I may surrender to later, like maybe I'll have like I said, like maybe smart bulbs, like maybe built into the house that I'm into 20 years from now. Eventually, I'm not that much of a Luddite, but for now, I'm able-bodied, and like there's some things I don't need taking up bandwidth, and I don't need to be that complicated in case something goes wrong.
I get it. It's a good point.
Yeah.
But I love my
You can.
Well, so my table flip is more pedestrian or mundane, I guess. If you're going to have an event, like the event I went to this morning, and you're going to park people in a little space, like a little field, and it's the vendors, right? So it's the people are going to get there first, vendors, parking, volunteer parking. You have to have either a person who sits out there with a chair and directs people, or you have to put up cones. Because if you let human beings park themselves, they'll park 5 across with no aisles.
Yeah.
And you'll have a situation like I ran into when I went to leave, where I had parked in such a way where I knew I was going to have enough space to back up to then be able to get out. But I did not realize that people were going to park in the exit aisles to get out.
Yeah.
And so everyone's standing in this parking lot and no one knows who these cars belong to. And it's spread out over what's probably 20 acres of land. And so there's lots of people who are just sitting on their cars weeping because there's two people. There's 2 people in front of them. There's 2 people behind them, and they couldn't even get out. Like I could maneuver my car out, but both of the aisles were plugged up. And so I got out and looked around and found where there were some bushes. And I asked a person who was walking by, I said, if I bring my car out here, will you pull this bush out of the way so I can get by and not scratch my car? And he said, absolutely. So I took my car and I just went off road, drove in between 2 bushes, did not scratch my car, drove on a sidewalk that was like no driving. And I'm like, fuck you, give me a space. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. Try to stop me.
Drove, like Dukes of Hazzard over it.
Pretty much. I drove onto a sidewalk, down the sidewalk, and then got off of the sidewalk onto the street, which is where we were trying to go, and left. And so my table flip is, don't assume that people have any fucking sense. And when they are late to their volunteer thing, they would just won't park in the driveway aisle of how we're supposed to get in and out of the little parking lot.
Right. The irony is that you're at a situation where you're supposed to improve the lives of humanity. Meanwhile,
out of the way, I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
Yeah, you just cancel your efforts out.
Yeah.
I came here to make the world a better place, and yet I've made it worse for so many other people.
Well, and what I love about it was after I did it, all these people hopping in their cars to try and have that guy still hold that one bush over so they can drive out too. I was like, follow me, we're leaving here. Well, I'll talk about my Huga, because yours looks like it's a legitimate, like a good organization.
It kind of dovetails in from your table flip.
Okay. Well, then go ahead, do yours then.
Okay, so this is something that I think I asked you to mention on one of your other podcasts like years ago. But during this past pandemic, and this other thing is something that I especially wanted to bring up myself. It's a group called Activate Good, and they operate pretty locally in like the Raleigh area of North Carolina. But it's the kind of organization that it's the kind of good that I want to see more of in the world. Because spending a lot of time on social media, what I keep seeing in there, like on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot, it's just all talk. It's just people talking and not doing. It's people who are virtue signaling, which I kind of feel is more narcissistic and self-serving than actually doing anything, or just people pointing things out like, here, thing or person, thing is bad, we should all be outraged by thing, and then nothing constructive is done about it.
Right.
But these are actual heroes. What's interesting about them is that they're a charity organization, and what they do is not only do they do charity work themselves, but if you're someone who wants to help to do something to make your community better, like not just the world, like if you just want to make your town better for the people who are in it, you just go to them and they'll direct you like, okay, you want to do this, here's the people you talk to. They if you can't work with, if they can't take you in themselves, they will direct you to the right people to go to. And the person who runs it is someone I used to know a while ago, but just like I've just been astonished by her efforts and the actual real good and heroic impact that she's having on the community. She also has a YouTube channel. Her name is Amber Melanie Smith, and what she does in her channel is, I'm talking about an organization that's pretty much focused only in Raleigh. So if you're listening to this and you're in the Raleigh area, look up activategood.org and you can help out there. But if you're like in Colorado or Texas or New Zealand, and if you don't have an equivalent near where you are, maybe you want to start something. The video series that she has on YouTube is, all right, if you want to start a nonprofit or if you want to start a charity, do this on their own. She has videos of tips of, here's what you do, here's how you gather interest from people.
Mm-hmm.
If you know people who want to do social service or charity work but don't know how, here's how you gather together and organize them. She'll give you instructions of basically how to start a similar organization where you are
Mm-hmm.
and be the good that you want to see. And I think I just always admire them because I see them as the real heroes out there. Like they're not out there bickering or complaining or anything like that. They're just out there
Right.
doing the footwork of making the world a better place and enriching the lives of the people in their town. And I
Which is
really admire
good.
that. Yes, they are true heroes in this world. And even through the pandemic, they did a whole lot of great things to help people out during that time. And their organization is being able to thrive through there. So if you want a great example of real heroes, go to activategood.org.
I like it. And it's a good idea. I think hopefully people will take our model and run with it and put it in their hometowns like you were
Right.
saying. My Hugo this week comes from my friend Alinzia, who works her butt off at the Geek to Geek Network. She's like the second in charge over there, making everything work. And she tries so hard. She's, getting the magazine together. She's, getting all the stuff, getting all the different podcasts, because there's like a bunch, there's like 15 podcasts over there. Getting it all together, and she's trying to make her own content. She's doing her own writing, her own game review stuff. And she and I have become pretty good friends over the past couple months. And we were talking, about stuff that was happening sort of behind the scenes, just privately together. And it dawned on me that no one ever really thanks her for all of the work that she does. And so I went over on
Hmm.
the Discord and the staff section, and I was like, "Hey, by the way, everybody, let's give a pat on the back to Lindsay because she's done all this hard work and she's just constantly trying to make it a better place and make it a really effective little network of people. And so maybe we should send her an edible arrangement or something like. But we,
Yeah.
she's really good. And so today I got she and I were talking, and she actually tweeted it. She crafts. She has an Etsy shop. She's a crafting rogue on Etsy, and she made me a little mind flayer. I'm gonna
Oh,
show it to the camera if you
oh,
want to
that's
go see.
adorable.
Isn't it cute? She crocheted that, and she's gonna
Oh,
put
that's
a bow on
crocheted.
it. Yes,
Oh,
isn't it cute? And if you're looking at the video, you can see it. And if you want to see it, if you're not looking at the video, you can go to at Kelly Disagrees, and she tagged me in it. And I responded to it 100 times. So because I was like, oh my god, that's the cutest thing ever. So you can see it for yourself on Twitter. But yeah,
yeah. It's
I
hard for
just
me to make out because you're putting like a picture on your phone up to the camera, and I couldn't tell it was in 3 dimensions, but it's like that's a physical object. That's awesome.
yeah, no, it's super cute. It's the cutest little thing. She crochets all kinds of fun, nerdy stuff. And she makes a lot of nerdy things. So definitely go check out her shop. But I was like, that's so sweet. I would anytime anyone does anything like that for me, I get really sort of, not overwhelmed, but I get kind of like, I don't know how to act because it's like,
Yeah,
that's the coolest thing ever. And I love it. And I want to tell you, like, I love it. It's the coolest thing ever. But then I don't want to, like, I want you to believe me. I don't want you to think I'm overdoing it. So then I start getting like self-conscious about like, it's like opening gifts in
I want
front
to
of
say thank you,
people.
but I don't want to be disingenuous.
Right. Like, I don't want you to think that I don't mean it because I get so in my head about it. It might sound like I don't. Of course I mean it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get this. It's
Right.
so cute. But I get sort of like anxiety when anyone does anything like that. That's like so over the top, nice and sweet.
Yeah.
I get into a panic, like, oh, I'm so honored. Like, thank
See,
you.
I think that's kind of healthy. I think that's something that you should just exercise more often, because gratitude is a big thing for me. Being able to, it's one of those virtues that I don't think gets really expressed enough. People
Yeah,
are more and more selfish and expectant of things that they really don't appreciate, and have and are grateful for the efforts that other people do for
right,
them.
right.
And I think that's no, if ever anything you're grateful for someone else for doing for you or anyone else, thank them, let them know. And
Yeah.
it feels great, and it encourages them to keep going.
Well, it's the same way. So there's gratitude, forgiveness, and asking for help. Being grateful for something and forgiving someone is something that you do for yourself, even though
Hmm.
it's good for the other person. It helps
Yeah,
you mentally. And then if someone asks for it, asking someone for help, you give them the opportunity to help you, which is a
yeah,
gift to them. If you can help someone else do anything, if it's go pick up something for them, or if it's just listen to them when they're down or whatever. If someone reaches out and says help, and you're able to help them, you get almost a bigger benefit by providing the help, because it's like we were talking about, like with the cuddle gene. Like, these are things that as
yeah,
human beings, being able to be helpful is an incredibly rewarding, chemically rewarding thing that you can do for yourself emotionally. And the same for having gratitude and forgiving people. Forgiving people is a big one, and not in like a weird metaphysical, like God and your soul and all that kind of stuff. If you can
yeah.
forgive somebody, that's 100% for you. They might not even know that you've forgiven them. They're forgiving them is something you do for yourself. So I totally agree with what you're saying. But yeah,
Yeah,
I can't wait to get my little mind flayer. How cool is
yeah,
that going to be?
yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Like in this age of everyone being online and being physically disconnected, those are things that I think have just atrophied. Like you said, forgiveness, gratitude,
Right.
those things. Like, since we're so disconnected from other people, we're losing the ability to keep those healthy connections that makes us all great and all better
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, with that being said, you and I need to hang out. I haven't seen you guys.
Duh.
I haven't seen you guys since before the pandemic, not physically. So work it out, figure
It'll
it out.
happen soon. It'll happen very soon.
Enjoy the emptiness of your house, and then I'll invade, but only for a couple hours.
And I was gonna say, like, as things get better, like, if like the pandemic dies down enough of a risk, that I maybe just go up there and we record locally together.
Oh yeah, sure. No, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I look, I'm even if you brought COVID and gave it to me, we're both vaccinated. We'll be fine.
yeah.
We'll be okay.
It's like, I'll just sneak out. I'll just drive out there. It'll be worth it. The sound quality will be uniform, and all this stuff. It'll be great.
No, it will be great.
And
Um,
if I bring up the friend zone again, you will be able to physically punch me in the jaw,
I'm so
and,
sorry.
and I will deserve it,
Don't bring it
because
up again.
I did not listen to my own advice, and
Do
clearly
it.
need to be reminded that
Don't
I've made a mistake.
look. And here's the thing: is now you've emboldened fucking Roger, and now the next time he's on, he's gonna be like, "Let's bring it up." He's gonna think it's so funny. He's gonna be like, "Oh, they agree with me." You know?
Well, don't you physically record with him in the same room?
Yeah, I'll snatch
Then
him.
you can
I'll
punch him in the
snatch him by his
jaw.
little tie. Be like, "Stop talking about it." Um, yeah, no, I'm also, and then he'll use that excuse to be like, "I'm gonna take a pee break," and then it make me have to edit, and I'll be livid. Um,
Damn it.
anyway, well, thank you for coming on. I'm sorry I yelled at you.
No,
Um,
it's perfectly fine. I was prepared for it, and
I
it got us
wasn't.
talking about it. Okay.
Clearly, I wasn't.
It got us talking about it. That was it.
Yeah, I'll be
And I
putting a
feel
little.
I've said my piece, and
All
then
right,
I'm satisfied.
I'll put a little warning on this episode.
Yep.
If because I know there's a lot of people who are like, "Mommy and Daddy are
Trigger.
fighting. It makes me nervous."
It's like, trigger warning. We had Sean on more often.
Exactly, trigger warning. This is what I told you
Yeah.
guys about. No, it's fine. Um, where can where If you get a podcasting studio, are you going to come back to podcasting?
Uh, Maybe. I'm
Do
pretty
it.
happy. Well, I mean, I'm pretty happy just guesting on other people's podcasts if they have me, because that takes a lot of the work off my shoulders. I can
Yeah.
just talk and have fun with stuff.
Right.
But hosting my own and producing all that stuff and all the just the housekeeping of all that, that is what I don't really have time for. But someday, I'm not saying never.
Okay.
I could have my own show.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed because you're good at podcasting.
Thank you.
Well, and since there's nowhere for people to find you, you
I believe I do. I
sorry,
mean,
where
I
can
mean,
people find you?
all you have to do is look into alphacounter.com. It'll take you right to my Twitter feed, which is really where I'm most active online.
Oh yeah.
Or just look up for at alphacounter. That's where I am doing online stuff, and you can talk to me or whatever.
Yeah, because he's not in the Discord for some reason. I guess it's just another
Because
app.
I'm on exactly.
It's
I'm
another
all
app.
again, like the company I work for, we have our own app and chat and shit like that. It's like I've got too many. I can't. I
I know.
can't.
I know. They've also
Ah,
they've added or they the GURPS campaign also has a Slack channel that I then have to go remember to go
yes.
chat. I'm like, oh God, Slack channel. But they're saying nice things about me over there, so I'm gonna keep going.
If
But
nothing else, I just assume that like they're doing fine without me.
yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah, the memes have been shared. But no, if you would like to get in on the Discord, we do have a public Discord. I've still yet to I put the link somewhere. But you can join the Patreon at patreon.com/mating habits, and you get access to all the Discords. If you want to find this episode with all the show notes, you can go to matinghabitsofthemoderngeek.com. The video will be on the Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive. If you want to find me on Twitter, you can find me at Kelly Disagrees, or you can find the show at Mating Habits. And you can always send me an email at moderngeekcast@gmail.com.